The Out There channel.
Please sub and share.
Searching for the truth. UFOs, aliens, greys and ufology. Real images, real stories, real videos, real cases, researched and investigated by professionals in the field and cutting-edge discoveries. Multiple witnesses, abduction accounts brought to you by Team The Out There channel. Good to be back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Action.
So, are we back? Yeah, it was a bit glitchy at the start there. I don't know what Google was up to, but it wouldn't let me click the live button. Go live. So it may have clipped the intro, I don't know. Okay. It's always little glitches, I tell you. Probably because of what I'm going to talk about today. And they ain't going to like it. The Men in Black. Nice. Who's out there? I've got terrible pain today though. In my arm and back. Need to mute that. That's better. Nothing worse than hearing yourself talk. Yeah. Anyone out there? Let's see, is it working? Yep. Let's post up some side chat things. So today I'm going to recap all my experiences I've had and connecting all the dots so far. So yeah, stuff that's sort of come to memory in the process, going back to childhood, since I've had these experiences, and I think it's connected. So I'll try and redo it all. There's a lot. I may forget something, or forget to mention it, I should say. Stuff I haven't forgotten though. But bits and pieces you do forget. So that's why it's best to document it when it happens. Little things. Like sounds you heard, smells you heard, stuff, that sort of stuff. Whether you're scared or not. So today we'll be covering, is it coming up? My alien visits so far with possible evidence. I think I may have some evidence, which I will show you. And you can take it from there. And like all the bullshitters and liars out there, You know what I do. I'm the real truth for ufology, not the ones that claim they are. Okay. And at least I'm trying to do something about it. Actually get evidence. Try and back up your claims. But not everybody's going to believe you, of course. But that's up to them. You know? It is what it is, as they say. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can lead Mick West to a UFO, and you still won't believe it. Okay, pin message. And Scott Brando. There we go. So, not sure if anyone's going to show up. Today I'm back to my normal afternoon show. So, it'll probably knock out a few UKers this time. But it's ideal for USA people. Can't do early mornings all the time. Sometimes I just need to sleep and trying to get rid of the pains in the system, else I can't function. If you'd like to donate, super chats are always active and super likes, so after a show you can actually hit super like, donate to $5 or $10 I think it is. So yeah, I've been doing some super likes on various channels out there. I'll give them some support from my own money, because you got to spread the love, right? People that are exposing truth should be given the thumbs up. And a wee bit of cash, you know, gives them incentive to keep on going. Even though I need the money myself. But that's the way it goes. Swings and roundabouts, you know. So, who's out there? Anybody? Still nobody? Yeah, I just can't trust the stats here. Alright, let's get the right screen, Paul. So, first up, talking about my Merc store. They just brought out some new fancy 60 retro colour things. I kind of like it. Looks quite cool with one of my logos here, and it's front and back. So yeah, I think there might be free shipping coming up. Normally it would actually display up here when they got some store vouchers, but at the moment I think it's about $6 if you live in USA, which is good. Shame it's not international like that all the time though. So I was thinking about buying one of these ones to have a look at myself, and you got different colours, you know. That one's pretty psychedelic, but it kind of looks good with the logo there. It looks like it's coming out of space, doesn't it? Out of a vortex TR3B. So yeah, might have to get something like that for summer coming up. So we got some other colours. Purple, blue. Blue's a bit faint though. But it's not too bad, I suppose. I need a darker blue one. What's that one? Black grey one. And another type of purple one. That one's not too bad. Yeah, I kind of like colours myself. Yeah, it's funny, for Christmas Day, no one buys you colours. They always buy you blue or white or something like that. Well, black. They never buy you colours. But yeah, I don't get presents anymore. We decided to stop doing that in the family because we just can't afford it. Yeah, so they got some new products there worth checking out. Still reckon it's the best Mac store with the quality. I'm still wearing my own T-shirts that I buy. It's funny how it opens up a new screen when I was clicking on those ones, so that's kind of weird. I'll post a link to it anyway in case you want to have a look. But you can find it normally if you go to my YouTube channel up here. Mac store there. Or the home about tab, I think it is. But anyway, let's post that up. Retro T-shirts. And 100% cotton too, I think they said, which is good because I don't like that man-made fabric sometimes if they got too much in it. Let's see if it works for you. Actually, you have to do the shop the long way. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that first. What's there? Let's open up all these. Let's get rid of some of these again. Crazy. Open a new tab for each choice. I think it would have opened up one tab and all those. Yeah, that one's just nice, isn't it? Nice and bright. I could stare at that all day. I don't know, it's just makes you feel nice and warm inside. And it's not too woke. Close that one. So, just a recap on the Calvine thing, just to finish it off. Talking about the stealth blimps, and I was talking about self-repairing material. Well, I did a update check on that. Scientists developed Wolverine-inspired material that heals itself. So this is back in 2015, I think. Where's the date? Where's the date? But anyway, I think it's 2015. So it's new science, really. But they got some products already. Self-healing via ion dipole interaction. Transparent self-healing artificial muscle. Cut. And then basically it leaks like our body does from the chemicals. Creates a like a scab. And then I guess eventually bonds the strands back together again. I'm not sure if they say much here about it. But yeah, if you started firing bullets through like an airship, you could see how this would eventually heal itself. It reminds me of the Blake 7 sci-fi series from UK. I'm not sure if you ever watched it. They had this, they took over this ship that was drifting in space, and they didn't know whose it was. Turned out to be some alien race spaceship, but had an onboard high IQ computer, and it had robots, or it had self-healing wires, so if it got shot, or the skin would repair itself, and the wires would seek out each other and join up again. It's kind of clever, really. That's going back into the 80s, right? Oh, here we go, 2017, so yeah, it's a bit later since I last looked. Marvel Comics study published December in the journal Advanced Material. So it kind of sounds like metamaterials, doesn't it? An international team of scientists described the first synthetic ionic conductor, a transparent, self-healing, highly stretchable material that allows ions to flow through it. So sounds almost like it's a charged skin as well. So it has to have some sort of energy to activate it. The material, which was inspired in part by regenerative ability of the comic book Anti-Hero Wolverine, could someday be used to improve the lifespan of electronic devices and develop self-repairing robots. So you can see how they'd want this in space as well. Micrometeorite impacts and all that sort of stuff. Creating a material with all these properties has been a puzzle for years. But you can see it's Chinese here, so it makes you wonder if they're way ahead. So this might be a Chinese in America, but it doesn't mean they're not leaking information back to China. A material chemist at University of California, Riverside, said in a statement, "We did that, and now we are just beginning to explore the applications. Most self-healing polymers are held together by non-covalent bonds, which are unstable under certain electrochemical conditions. In their effort to improve material stability, Mr. Wang colleagues made use of a phenomenon called ion dipole interactions by combining a polymer with highly ionized salt. They were able to produce a stable material that can stretch and repair itself." So I won't read it all out. It's a bit of a struggle for me anyway, as you know. Something's touching my head there. Let's see, is that better there? No. Not sure, I'll just try it. Headrest on the pillow here. It's like the car headrest thing. So I'll post a link to that, but it has a lot of pop-ups and nags. But you can do your own research on that. You know, people out there have doubts about hypersonic airships and stuff. But you've got to remember, they're probably 20 years ahead of commercial stuff, so, or publicly known stuff. So I'll talk about my stuff now. Have we got out there, anybody? Zero watching. Oh well, you'll just have to watch it offline, guys. But anyway, yeah, so Goofon's still being a turd. He's using his new Twitter account just to troll people. What an idiot this guy is. And sooner he leaves ufology, the better, really. Because he's just a noisemaker and a troublemaker. And it'll never change. And it's all part of the YouTube criminal gang network that's out there. So, yeah. Keep on being conned by these people. They make all these stupid claims that they got the best UFO videos when they got little dots in the sky. Claim to be experts in balloons and get it all wrong. And so on. So, yeah. So, what did he say here? Why so 3 can watch you, your dog and your imaginary friends. Ha 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 ha. So this is someone that claims to also have alien visitors, right? In his past. And was aliens on videotape which we've never ever seen. Makes all these claims up, right? Unlike me, that will bring you what I have captured, if anything, or tell you this something that happened in the last 3 days. But certainly not more than a week, because you got to document it while it's fresh in the memory and draw pictures and stuff. But now I've got a lot of cameras set up and document things as we go. But yeah, I just need lots of time and good health, which I haven't got. So yeah, I don't know, in the Twitter rules, yeah, I said pee off, you oxymoron. So I got sense of humour, you see. But anyway, so that's got me thinking, right, so it's probably time I need to put together all my evidence and events in sequence and retell the story complete. Now, I did offer this to Dave Scott, but he wasn't interested, so I'm going to do it on my channel, and the few that happen to come across it will hear what I've got to say. So yeah, it should be really something that if someone's really truly experiencing aliens or UFOs in their life, then this is the channel to follow. A skeptic that debunks and exposes liars, and also documents and tries to capture evidence of his own experiences, and not dots in the sky, as you've seen already. So yeah, so I got exploding head syndrome here, so that's part of the story, but I'm going to prove to you that I'm not suffering from this. So we'll just start at the beginning. How should I do it? Probably should start with like a summary of my life and how it sort of expanded out, probably. There's a lot to cover. Of course, I'm not going to show any personal photographs and stuff, but we'll see what we can do. So I suppose we should really start with my early life. Now, my parents come from London, off outskirts of London. My dad grew up with a family of 10 other siblings. He was born just at the start of World War II. And they're a poor family, and food was very hard to get. So he remembers being starving, hungry as a kid, and having to go out and find stuff to eat. And of course, he used to go and collect sparrow eggs and anything else he could, all from different birds and around the neighbourhood, parks and all that. And they used to mix all together into one big scrambled egg with other stuff and have it with their simple loaf of bread. He said they're so poor they didn't even have butter. They had to spread animal fat as lard on top, as spread on bread, which they loved because you need carbohydrates and fat. So yeah, he met my mother in high school, I guess you call it. And they got married fairly early, 18 and 21, which is really unheard of today. And he joined the Air Force as a technician, an electronic technician. And I wasn't born yet, obviously. But he got relocated with his position as a radar technician at various places around the country, as well as around the world. So Mum obviously tagged along to the location that he was based for 6 months or a year or whatever, and one of the locations was Scotland. So yeah, they got a cottage near Inverness, yes, the Loch Ness Monster, and Mum got pregnant and had my sister, and they were there for a wee while, and then they had me after, and I was about 1.5 when he was reposted to Libya. So we went from Scotland, freezing cold snow I think it was, and landed in 45 degrees Celsius heat, which UKs are now experiencing, in the middle of a desert. Libya, which you may have heard on the news with Hillary Clinton and all that. So we lived there for a 1.5 years in these mud huts or sand huts. So yeah, I should really bring up a map, shouldn't I? So where's Google Maps, that one. So there's UK. So my parents come from over here, and we got shipped off to Inverness. Up here somewhere, there it is, way up here. Couldn't get further away, I guess, from London. And from there we went to Libya. I'm not sure if it's on here still. Didn't get renamed. Libya, there we go. So we lived there, and that's right next door to the pyramids in the Mediterranean. And of course it was really hot. So there's various pictures of me. I have actually got some up of me sitting with a turtle on top of one of these flat roofs over there, in a story from EARL Grey and his mother being an underground base. So if you listen to that story, you've probably seen pictures of me explaining some of this. Now you're thinking, why is he telling us a life story? Well, it all sort of interconnects, I believe now. With the things that have happened to me, now I can relate backwards in life and remember things as a kid. So from there, I was about 3 years old, and we were repositioned to go and lived in Germany. So Germany's up top here. And we went to a small village that had a lot of pine tree forests around it and hills. And there was like a 5-story high-rise there. And I think we were on the 3rd or the 4th floor. Haven't actually confirmed that with Mum. They probably can't remember anyway. I don't know. So yeah, it's like on a slight hill, going up to it. Oh, I was meant to. Oh well. So it was like a little grey building, 7 stories high or whatever, and it had the regular German houses, the white buildings around. If you ever seen those, they're all pretty distinctive looking. Germany, white houses. So we made friends with the locals and learnt as a kid at 3 years old. I was actually talking fluent German as well as English and some Dutch, I think it was. So they got these old type houses over there, and the place we went to live was actually a place called Helschenbach. which means hill. Buck, what's buck mean? I should know. Ocean buck, there we go. So we lived there for a while. I'm not sure what region exactly, but I wonder if we can bring it up on the map. How do they spell it exactly? Shortland. No, that's not Hellenbach, that's not it. Must have spelled it wrong. Let's see. Hill. Pretty sure it's how you spell it. Oh, here we go. Hilschenbach. There we go. Okay, let's have a look at some pictures, see if it jogs back any memories. There we go, so you can see it's very foresty. It's a nice little place. It's funny that he should be positioned in these anti-English places, but the funny thing is, when we become friends with the Germans, the guy that was in the German army said, I would never believe my best friend would be an Englishman. Just goes to show how stupid war is, and if you integrated, you'd see we're all pretty much the same. We have the same problems and the same wants in life. So yeah, as you can see, looks like a lot of forests still there. A lot of pine forests. I'm not sure if we can actually drop down and look. Let's see what happens. Back to that again. Gotta line it up and that. There we go. See if it comes up. Probably have problems. Yeah, that's nice. There we go. You can see these are the hills with the forests. Now, I always used to be scared of the forests there for some reason. One day, me and my dad used to walk through the forests because he used to go away for 3 to 6 months and then come back. And then we'd be missing him, but he'd go away on these contracts with the RAF. You can see there's the white houses everywhere. I don't know if there's any high rises there. But yeah, there we go. Black roofs, white things. So yeah, all I remember is it used to go up on a hill where we used to sled down it as kids when it used to be snowy there. Looks like there's a lot more over this way. So I don't know where we are, but yeah, look, hill. It looks very much like New Zealand actually. So we're flat where we are, but we have hills like this and forests, especially as you go further down south, but it's more natural forest. But we do have a lot of pine forests planted by farmers. So yeah, I'm not actually seeing any high-rises. I think it's still there. Haven't knocked it down. I think the Air Force used to own the building. So yeah, moving on. So there's plenty of places there you would expect aliens to be visiting, right? So let's just skip forward to 93? The German friends finally decided to come and visit us in New Zealand. The first thing the guy had to tell us was that he saw a UFO, which was in one of these forests just out the back of the house, like these houses here. And they watched this typical classic flying disc hover. They didn't have any smartphones or anything like that back then. And it shot vertically upwards at impossible speeds, but like the Tic Tac. And they said it blinked out like a star. So that don't sound like our technology, but we have actually, as you've seen, come across various secret craft called stealth blimps that could do hypersonic speeds. But why would they be hiding out in a forest in a remote area? Doesn't make any sense. So to write that off as our technology still back then is kind of ludicrous, because they shouldn't just be hanging out around small little villages when they should be hovering over secret bases. And I don't think there's any secret bases there, but you never know. Germans used to do a lot of underground tunnels and things. Yeah, it's interesting having a look at that. So what's the next thing? So as a kid, I remember certain things, not much, but I remember certain things that scared me. And one of them was one night I could have sworn that the shadows on the wall were moving, that there was something watching me in the bedroom. Up to that point, I don't remember anything else like that, or after. But it was not long after that event happened, probably 6 months on, that we left Germany, heading back to UK, was it? I think it was. And then we got a ship from UK that would go to New Zealand, and it stopped at Africa and Canary Islands and all that. So it was a really good cruise coming to New Zealand. But my father was still part of the RAF, and he had to stay behind and work his contracts. And he didn't really want to leave, because it means he wouldn't get a pension, but eventually he did leave. He managed to do a lot of savings, right? So basically they could come to New Zealand and buy a house outright, because the RAF paid for everything and also gave you money, which you didn't need to spend. You could save it all. But yeah, it was a good life. But yeah, these shadows on the wall, and I would be screaming out for my parents, who were socialising next door in the lounge with the German friends playing cards. And Dad would come in and say, yeah, it's just imaginary, it's just the wind blowing the curtains and all that sort of stuff. And because I'd look at the curtains and see the shadows of the curtains, but it didn't match up what I was seeing as movement shadows, like shadow men or whatever. And because we're up 3 or 4 stories, right, as well, which is kind of strange. And of course you leave your windows open because you feel safe. So I just wonder if that's where it started, because I didn't know that maybe anything about UFOs or aliens back then, or even paranormal, because I was only a kid. But I never even heard anyone talking about such things. So when the Germans come to visit us in New Zealand and told us about this amazing sighting they had, I was already running my YouTube channel, and as you know, and thought, wow, I wonder if there's some connection, because if they saw it, means they wanted them to see it probably. And maybe they've been part of the collecting information, why they're behind woods would be a good place to collect samples and abduct people or whatever and find out about the human race. Why would they go to Germany? Because it was a big war zone, right? A lot of violence there, and maybe nuclear experiments even. And same as why would they go to America? Exactly the same reason. A lot of big explosions in the desert, so maybe it left signatures. And maybe later I found out my dad actually had been in an underground base in Germany and did some secret work for NATO, which he won't say much about, which is kind of interesting as well. And you hear a lot of people that have alien visitations have a lot of military in the background. So I don't know if that's related to my experiences I'm having now. But because the way we left there, they may have lost track in me, right? We left in a car, then planes, and then down to New Zealand, which is the other side of the world. And they may have lost contact with me if they were actually using me in experiments that I don't remember. But yeah, so progress on in time. Okay, what's that? Bigger than normal. Alright. I've got that open there. There we go. We've got a couple of people watching now. So, I should have left open the map, shouldn't I? So we went from Germany, eventually, when I was 3. And Dad travelled all around, setting up radar in different countries. And Germany was like the base camp to Europe. And then eventually we flew back to London, caught a ship, and went all the way around, I guess. Oh, yeah. Is that the Canary Islands there? What's that up there? Yeah, I think, yeah, Canary. Went past there. Have to refuel, get supplies. And eventually stopped off in South Africa. Table Mountains, is it? South Africa. And then we headed off to Australia. There it is, straight across. Was it Melbourne? I think it was. And then straight to New Zealand from there. I'm not too sure where we landed though. I don't think Littleton was able to take ships. I didn't have it set up, and Akaroa wasn't ready for it. I think it must have been Wellington. And then we got a plane down to Christchurch or something. But anyway, that part of it's a bit foggy in my memory. But that's how we ended up down there. So, everything was pretty much good life in New Zealand. Nothing really much happened since we got there in 1972. And my sister met a guy at work, and they eventually got married, had kids, then separated. And she went to live in this flatlet that was near like a reclaimed land, I think, of a church of graveyards. It had this little hill of graveyards, which is really strange looking. It was out of place. But she started having paranormal stuff happen. And we didn't really believe her at first. But eventually she moved from there and got a house pretty much across the street from us, where I was staying with my parents, and I was like 18 years old, working initially for a big corporation for the freezing works, processing all the payroll. And eventually I went to university, right, and paid my own way through it. And had the student loan and paid that off too. No government handouts to pay off for me. But anyway, she was in this other house, and more paranormal started happening. Like she was, like, had attached to her. And probably you've heard some of the stories there, which is not part of the alien stuff, but maybe it's linked. I don't know. But I have actually got a playlist where I have talked about in various live shows through the years. And it's not something I've made up just to try and get traffic. I've always explained my sightings and stuff that I've been getting. Yeah, not created ones. Let me see. We want to go down to the best playlist, I think it is. So, members, fans, stories in that one, and you got Paul's own experiences in this one. So we'll just open up that one. Now I'm telling everything here because I think it's all connected somehow. So back then I had a little interest in UFOs and a little interest in paranormal when I saw mystery shows. I think it was In Search Of series got me interested in it. And then I started buying magazines, and there wasn't much around on UFOs, let alone paranormal, in the libraries. So we used to buy these magazines on mysteries, as you know, which I have presented to you. And my sister had some really crazy paranormal claims. She used to have some homestays to help her pay the rent. Japanese and Asians from China. And also Korea, I think. But anyway, South Korea. Not North Korea. And she had sightings of the man in the top hat, which she thought was our granddad, which is Dad's father, who died, but also fought in World War II. But I don't think so. I think there's something more to it. But yeah, the Asians also saw these paranormal apparitions, and the kids claimed as well, and I tell it in this episode here. So I'll just post that down the side, and you can see there's a few episodes where I've talked about stuff. Okay, and this will be another one to add to the list, I guess. But I'll just post that down there. Now I actually got physical evidence and stuff. I've got lots of good stuff to come up, but no one's interested, of course. So I'll just talk to myself here. There's the playlist to this. Now this interview here, I actually got photographs of what I've just talked about in the recap. And EARL talks about his own paranormal experiences, and he's also a abductee, which he told only one other person before he come and spilt the beans on one of my live shows. He felt like it's going to give me this gift of this story because no one else has heard it. So he told it on my channel for the first time. It wasn't in this episode, but it would have been in one of these other playlists back here, members' stories, so it'll be in there. And he's told it a couple of times, initial time, and then he recapped it later on the show. Well worth having a listen to his mum's story as well as his own story, how he become a MUFON chief investigator in California there. Don't know if we need that anymore. But yeah, now let's see. How do we go? So yeah, one of my sister's stories was a broken toy spinning around inside the toy box. With flashing lights and making sound, and even putting batteries in it and turning it on because it was turned off wouldn't get it to work. That would have been a good thing to catch on video, and of course I talk about that story in the episode there. So I won't go over the paranormal too much, but because of my sister, it sort of got me involved directly with own experiences happening, I guess. But anyway, we converted the top of the house, which you can see in the episode there. It's a picture of the old house that we grew up in. When the parents first come over and paid outright for it to have it built. And this new section on reclaimed farmland, basically, and of course it was said to be out in the country, not the main city, but it's only like 20 minutes drive away. So I had a out of body as well when I was 13, and I remember being stuck on the ceiling looking down at myself, but I also have a story on that somewhere here. That one there. Mandela effect and dreams that come true. So it's all in this list. But I also remember my sister and as kids, my sister and cousins got hold of a Ouija board. Now we know the dangers of Ouija boards. You got to make sure you close it, else it stays open. I don't think it was closed. And it was done inside our house. And they brought it over, put it on the table, and put a glass upside down and said, "Oh, how does it work?" And so they weren't even sure how it worked. So they stuck their fingers on there and started asking questions, and the glass dam moved. And they all freaked out and said, "That wasn't me doing that." And Ashley answered yes to them. And they said, "No, I'm not doing any more of that. It's too creepy." So I don't know if that somehow opened up a portal there in their own house, but that was way before my sister's paranormal events happening later in life. But this is something else I just remembered. And I was sitting on top of the couch looking down at the board, and I was interested why the glass moved, whether it was really working or not. But they wouldn't assume it. So basically we didn't ever do it again. But yeah, I don't know if that left anything in the house. But I always felt like I was being watched from that point onwards again. And it sort of brought up memories of me as a 1.5-year-old or whatever it was. No, 3 years old back in Germany. Of that apparition, the shadows moving. So yeah, where do we go from there? So we ended at the top of the house to this young guy that had his own business, late 20s. Had his own car wash firm, car grooming. And he used to smoke a lot of weed and had some mental issue. So he used to go to he used to check himself into Sunnyside, as we used to call it, or Templeton. And used to be a psychiatric hospital. Because he suffered from, I don't know, depression or whatever. But in the end, he ended up killing himself. We didn't know about. He killed himself by gassing himself in his own car. Because he liked living with us and smoking weed, but eventually the guy almost drove through the back of the house high and drunk or whatever. And Dad said, "You got to go because we need the top of the house back." Because, well, I don't know, he made up some excuse anyway. So the guy left and got another apartment somewhere else, but soon after he committed suicide apparently, and we didn't know about it. And my sister went to a special psychic medium thing with her new man. She bumped into this new man that was into that sort of stuff. I don't know if it's synchronicity or this sort of stuff, where things happen for a reason. But it's very interesting if there is some connections between things happening. But she met, as she was walking in, the meeting was shaking hands with everybody. Thank you for coming. It was only meant to be a small group of 20 or so. And she said, "Oh, you got a young man attached to you in the spirit world. You don't know he's dead, but you did know him in his life." And she said, "I don't know who you're talking about." She said, "In a couple of weeks' time, it will become apparent who it is. I can't tell you any more than that, but watch out for it." So she went home, told Mum about this meeting she went with, and Mum thought it was funny. And I said, "Oh, who could she be talking about?" And that same day, a postie come with a letter, and it was addressed to the guy that used to live upstairs. And then Mum says, "Oh, there's a letter for that guy that used to live here. We'll phone up his mother, see where he is." And of course later that night she did, and the mother told him, "Oh yeah, he committed suicide." And Mum went, "Oh, okay." And then it sort of clicked that this man that was dead standing next to my sister was this guy from upstairs. And she told my sister about it, and they were sort of shocked, and they were wondering if that's the man that the medium was talking about. But anyway, progress is on from there. I thought it was hilarious myself. I wasn't too sure about psychics because I knew about cold reading and the tricks they use, and they use generalization. You could say someone's going to die in your life for the next 3 weeks, and it probably will happen, you know. Someone that you knew or whatever, but or friends, someone you knew indirectly. But anyway, what happened after that? She had the Asians see this pot plant lift off and drop on the floor, apparently, and my sister didn't believe her. But I think it might have been this guy getting angry. He wanted to be noticed by the sister. But yeah, soon after the Asians left, because Asians are really paranormal about superstition and ghosts and all that sort of stuff. But eventually my sister sold the house and needed somewhere to temporarily go, so she come to our house across the road pretty much, and with her kids, so it got a bit cramped, but there was just enough room for her and the dogs. Well, dog I should say at that time, and the dog was unhappy being locked in the back hallway, which is only like a little cupboard area really. So one night I just let her up and said, come into my bigger bedroom, and she was happy as this dog was a collie, not a collie, Labrador cross with something else. So she's a real softy type dog. So I put her next to the cupboard. It was probably before I went to Australia to work. I was, let's see, what was I doing at the time? I finished working with this big corporation, and I was just finished university, I think it was, and I think I was doing some more study. But anyway, it was like a super hot summer night in the bedroom, and suddenly there was this cold rush of air, and the dog that was sleeping next to the cupboard, because I was working on the computer, so it was, people had gone to bed, I think, and I was up still, and the dog jumped up and was staring dead still at this, like she was staring at something behind my back. And I was freezing cold, and yet it was like 32 degrees Celsius in the bedroom. And so I thought, crikey, what's going on? I didn't know about cold spots back then. I don't think ghost hunters and all that had made it to the TV yet. I think maybe some of the crappy UK ones were there, just starting to air. But anyway, there wasn't much on New Zealand TV about paranormal anyway. So yeah, I stuck my arm into this cold spot and it moved, which is kind of freaky. And the dog moved its head. I looked over at her and noticed that she changed the position where she was looking. And eventually the cold spot disappeared and the dog lay down. So I think she sensed it as well as I sensed it. And I had the bedroom strictly below where this guy used to live. Well, below his bedroom, the other side was a kitchen bathroom area. So it was like a two room apartment. And the back of the house was extended, and my parents were living basically where the garage used to be. They made this big carport at the back, and they turned it into another room, and they knocked out some bricks in the wall, and you could go from the house into this new room. But and the sister got the old master bedroom, and I was in another room on the other side of the house. And then at the front of the house was the kitchen, and in the middle was the lounge and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, so that was one strange thing. And also one night, I think, or I believe that the door, I left a little gap and it opened up bigger. And there's no gust of winds in this house. The door opened up and it felt like something had jumped and sat next to me in bed. So yeah, I just thought it was mind tricks. So I didn't really pay much attention to the paranormal back then. But that was my first experience of some strangeness happening when my sister come to stay. What happened after that? I eventually was working with another university or college, and I got sick. I got very sick, and the doctors didn't know what was wrong with me, and I started taking herbal and got better that way. And I was back healthy again using herbal. So I decided to go to Australia to work and quit the university and actually work and see if I can get a job in normal industry, which I did do for a few years. But before I went, I had these visions, which I've never had before. I was experimenting with a iron generator, and I had these vivid dreams of me being meeting people and stuff like that would come true. And when it come true, I used to think it was really strange, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. But one dream I had that didn't come true was me being in a strange place overlooking a river. And it wasn't until I went to Australia and had an interview in this particular building that overlooked the river, I got that sort of weird feeling that I've been there before. And I was trying to work out why I was getting these dreams that seemed to come true, and how it's even possible, because it hadn't happened yet. But yeah, it was actually overlooking Brisbane River. I went to work in Queensland, and I got a really good job over there at $40 an hour, and I took it as a contractor. So yes, saved a lot of money in the process, and I'll tell it in that one there if you want to go and listen to it. And then eventually everything goes wrong, and 9/11 happens, and work dried up as a contractor. There was a lot of drama in the workplace, and eventually money ran out, and I had to come back to New Zealand again, and I stayed with the parents, and I was back at the old house again. And it was a funny feeling, though, funny going back there. But not long after were building a new house, and so I didn't stay there too long, and we relocated to a new house after living there for 40 years or whatever, 38 years. I started at a new house, and I thought, oh well, that's gonna, I never thought about paranormal once I moved to Australia, because nothing really happened at all. It was just like normal living, no strange things at all, just having fun and working hard. But when I come back to New Zealand, I couldn't get work, not since 9/11. It was very competitive, and they pay your stuff all back in New Zealand too. Like I was earning, when I left New Zealand initially, I was earning only something like $7 an hour or something ridiculous, and over in Australia I was earning $40 an hour. So yeah, it's a big jump in salary there. So yeah, I was in the new house, and the old cat that I knew was dying from cancer by the looks of it. And he was like skin and bones, and it was vomiting. So Mum decided to have him put down finally. And I said, yeah, I think he should have been put down a year ago. But yeah, it was kind of a happy cat. So he got put down in the new house, pretty much. He's enjoying the new place too, exploring it. And we had no pets then. And that's when stuff started happening again. So I got this bedroom that gets fairly warm and gets early morning sun. So I had the room sealed. I didn't have windows open because it was winter, and I had the door shut. And I was laying on my side, face down, sort of, and something jumped on the back of me. And it felt like 2 little feet. And I thought, this is really strange. It's creating a funny sensation on my back. Do I move? Do I see what happens next? And it took a step forward, and I thought, nah, this is too much. And I shot up really quickly, and it was on the wrong side of the bed, but the touch light was on the other side. And I quickly scrambled over and tried to slam my hand onto the touch face of the lamp to turn it on. Kept missing. Eventually it turned on, and there was nothing in the room. I thought, can't be a cat, because there's nothing in the room, and it didn't feel like a cat, and it really freaked me out. But yeah, eventually I turned off the light and covered my head with a pillow and went back to sleep. Thinking that it was just some crazy mind thing again, because I wasn't really into paranormal or aliens back then. I had a passing interest in it. And of course it would happen randomly every 6 months or so, where something would jump on the bed and you can feel it walking around and leave impressions in the quilt. And I thought, damn, I'm going to have to get a better smartphone so I can actually capture this thing. So I did that, and it happened for a third time, but this time I had my phone handy. And it had the 2 impressions in the bed, but it was really hard to film it because of without having to put the light on. You know, as soon as you put the light on, things cool down for some reason. It's like they don't like our light from a normal bulb. I don't think LEDs affect them so much. But the older cassette, what do you call it? Cassette, what do you call them? Where they have a filament anyway, and they glow. And yeah, so I had to turn on the light, and then things died down after that. But I could feel weight there, but I couldn't really document it. Because it wasn't showing up on camera very well. I was trying to kick up the quilt and see if it would form the holes in the quilts where the thing was standing. And so I thought that was really strange. It was at this time when I was receiving emails from a friend about security and having a look at this and this and this. And I thought, oh, this is very interesting. I have to start watching YouTube. This guy's claiming he's got inside knowledge and leakers. And let's see where it develops. So I got really suspicious after a few months of watching him. and no new updates of the things he made claims off, saying he was going to do updates. And I thought, well, this needs to be investigated more. What's going on here? Is this guy lying to people? And so I set up my own channel, and I thought I'd start putting up a few episodes of my own sightings first, and then look more into ufology happening on YouTube. And that's sort of where my channel started to be developed from. Stone Hobbits, is it? How's it going? You're the only one here. Welcome. Anyway, so I'm recapping my family history and adding in the events up to current times where I've got some evidence finally. And all the stories are told throughout these episodes here in that playlist that I've posted. But I'm just recapping it very quickly. Without drawing pictures and stuff, because I've already done that inside these ones. But I might find that one with the alien visit. So I had various paranormal happen as well. Lights coming on, sensor lights. You know, we got these hallway sensor lights that turn on automatically. And as you know, I've been documenting the light turning on by itself. And I might add, still, it hasn't turned on since I've moved back into the bedroom. I moved out for a time and set up a camera, and I was sleeping in another bedroom because it was cooler, because it was summer back then. And I got various, at least about 5 or 6 videos of the light turning on by itself. And it's not just like a pushing a button on a remote. You actually have to push a separate button to turn it on and a separate button to turn it off. It's not a toggle either. So the only way to turn it on is by remote, which is an infrared remote, which is kind of interesting. And it only works about 1 foot away from the light, which is strange as well. Because the battery's weak, I guess. Or it's just a crappy remote control. It's one of the It's like one of those credit card ones. It's got a switch on the back of the light stand I've got. I know. Paranormal can't turn on switches, as far as I know. There's no light that's come on where there's been a physical switch in this house, but only sensor lights and this infrared one. So I have documented that in various lives recently, going back, and you can check those ones out. But yeah, leading up to that light situation though, still, chronicle order, because it's all connected, I think. So we had the being jumping on the bed, and it felt like hoofs, not actual normal feet. It felt like round hoof type feet. And we're not religious by any means, so we don't believe in demons and all that sort of stuff. If a demon showed up, I'd probably end up attacking it myself. I'm the more of adrenaline and attack first and then run. But yeah, I've got some things next to the bed I can grab and use as a weapon now. But I also have bought various things that can illuminate. I've got a laser pen with a grid system where you can shine it around and see if there's anything that's cloaked. And I often use that when the paranormal thing happens, just to make sure there's no bending of light or any portals or anything like that people claim. And so far I haven't managed to document anything like that. If I did manage to see it on laser, I'd probably grab my phone and start videoing it for you guys to see. But paranormal and aliens is really random. You can't predict when it's going to happen, and you certainly don't have enough time to grab a phone and video it. So now I've spent probably close to probably $1,000 actually in New Zealand, which is a lot of money for me, on a new MVR that records up to 32 video cameras, and it records it continuously. And I've got now 8 IP cameras connected to it that's recording and trying to capture evidence of what I'm saying. And it's gone quiet, I have to say. You know, there was a bit of the light turning on and off for a while, and strange noises, and hallway lights turning on, but that sort of stopped now. I've got a hallway camera and a kitchen camera and a bedroom camera. So they must know. But yeah, I had a entity pop out in the air and attack me. It was like a shape like a ghost, like the old classic Ghost in a Sheet, but it had no limbs. It just had a head and a body like a 10-pin bowling ball that was fatter. And this thing popped out above my bed, and I was dreaming at the time of being chased by this thing, and then I woke up and there it was above my bed. Now I don't know if that's induced vision or it was really there, but this thing was lunging at me, coming closer to me, and I grabbed a quilt and tried to scare it away because I didn't have any weapons at the time. I didn't have like my metal walking stick next to the bed like I have now, which is pretty cool. It unfolds and turns into a stool. So yeah, I bought that recently, which is quite cool. I used to have one of these big security torches, you know, that cost like $100 and has like hundreds of batteries in it, and you could run a truck over it and it won't break or anything. But I used to have that, but I gave it to Mum when we had the earthquake. I said, you might need this, and also you can use it as a weapon. Stone Hobbit. I need cameras, but I don't know how to set up. Yeah, getting the right cameras is a learning experience. I bought this camera for the bedroom. Turns out I can't actually connect it to my MVR because the Chinese have crippled the firmware on it on purpose. They're trying to get people to subscribe to monthly memberships on the cloud instead, to upload your SD card to the cloud so they've got access to it, which I don't like. I like to have it all in-house. So to buy a decent camera, you got to spend like $70 New Zealand that have net IP, which works with these MVR boxes, and also have ONVIF format. So that's what you got to aim for, and then you can connect it to all your devices in the house. So it basically grabs the IP address like your phone would from the router, which is no good because then that IP is random each time, which makes it impossible to connect to it and record from, of course. So you have to configure the software for a static IP address and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a bit involved, but depends what kind of camera you want and all that sort of business. But most of them now come with SD cards and record to the SD card non-stop, which is basically what I set up on my camera. Okay. So yeah, I had this thing try to attack me, and I was screaming. It was 10 o'clock in the morning. I was sleeping in late, and my sister was staying with was oddly enough again, with her third new man in life, and 4 dogs, and they heard me screaming, so they come dashing down the hallway, and I was trying to get to my bedroom door, but this thing was trying to block me getting near the door. I know it sounds crazy. A white blobby thing attacking me. It's kind of strange, I know. Now you got to remember, I'm a pure skeptic on this sort of stuff, and I know I had bad eyes. They're bad eyes, so you do get floaters and things in your eye and fogginess, but this thing was definitely 3-dimensional. And I just managed to open up the door, and one of the dogs got there, and I'm pretty sure they saw this thing as it disappeared. But yeah, you can't question a dog. Can you come on and tell what you saw on microphone? Woof, 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 woof. Doesn't kind of work, does it? Yeah, it's not like a human come to the door and saw it just as it disappeared, because then you would have had an eyewitness account. So yeah, I was a bit scared to come back to the bedroom after that. I felt like something was trying to kill me, and at the time I was being attacked online by Goofon and other channels, and I just wonder, maybe there had been some black magic done, some dark energy. But I was also at the time watching that Hella series about the alien goblins that live in the mountains of Kentucky. And I was following that pretty deeply, and seeing clues that were missing, and I was communicating with them saying, well, this is what I saw, and you didn't seem to want to see that yourself, about the blood types and all that sort of stuff, which is related to alien abductions. But anyway, it's a great series. If you've not seen it, a lot of people are skeptic that it was actually a mocko, but a lot of it in that series did make sense. You just have to watch it and connect it to what I've been presenting for the last 6 years anyway. It's free online. I think it's like 8 episodes and 12 episodes, 2 seasons of it, where they actually got an email from someone saying they were being attacked by these little alien creatures. Could they come out and help them? And that's where the story starts off, and they think it's just a prank email, and they start investigating it and all that stuff. These guys have been on like Ghost Hunters as guests and stuff like that. They're more paranormal than they were UFO alien people, which I thought was strange why they would be contacted, but maybe because they were on TV a couple of times, and they were able to be contacted on Twitter and all that. But anyway, what else happened? A lot more did happen. Once I saw an apparition walk at the end of my bed. I'm pretty sure as I was waking up, something disturbed me, and I woke up and I'm pretty sure I saw this white apparition walk across from the door to the window and disappear. So I was starting to wonder if I had some sort of land portal here that allows things to come in. So I used to imagine a force field around me, like a big globe that would go underneath the bed and around and protect the house, pretty much. And that sort of seemed to work for a wee while. But until the alien visit thing happened. And that's where it gets a bit more interesting. Hey guys, well, just woke up from my granddad nap. Yeah, it's a problem once you get to 50, isn't it? And if you're up all night too. So I'm just recapping my life story and how I'm trying to trying to line up timeline of events and the best I can remember. But you remember this story. It sort of freaked me out. But anyway, what happened is I ended up getting bad eyes, and then I got bad back. And it's in a certain place in my back where this massive pain was. I'm not sure. I put it down to early back injury when I was a vacuum cleaner in Australia, and I bent over too much and it went ping, and I was in pain, and I had to lay on the bed, and I did a little walking around, and it seemed to come good again. So I thought maybe it was returning, the back injury was returning. But what happened is one night I woke up because I was in a lot of back pain all that week. When I would walk the dog, I'd come back and I'd literally be on the floor, just managing to get into the door and pretty much collapsing in pain until the pain would go away after sitting around, laying around and getting up again. The parents didn't understand my back pain back then until they got one themselves now, which is kind of strange. Everybody's got back pain in this house now. But anyway, one night I woke up and it was a hot summer night because it was summer, and I slept in the nude. And I was on my right side, and I had just a sheet on the bed, and it was over my top of my head for some reason. And I woke up, and I couldn't move. But I was in utter pain. Pain worse than it ever has been in my back. And I couldn't move. Eventually I managed to look to my side, and I could see there was something happening behind me, and I needed to get the blanket off my eyes fully. So I managed to get some elbows moving, hands moving. No, I managed to lift some of the sheet off my eyes, and I saw this alien grey laying across the bed on the other side, sticking this damn needle in my back where the pain was. And I thought, this has got to be real. This is not a dream, because I'd just woken up from a dream. And I looked the other side of the bed, and there was this 3 foot so alien grey, just like Mr. Grey in the corner here, with the same black eyes, a big head, and he was sort of glowing. He had this luminous type stuff that you get under the sea on his skin. I don't know if it was part of the clothing or part of the skin. Now I'm not 100% sure, but I remember he was sort of grey green, I think. Grey blue, grey green. So that memory's sort of fading a wee bit now. But I remember this illumination, like he was self-illuminated in the dark. There was no lights on or anything like that. You hear people talking about the room filled with bright lights, but there was nothing like that. This is a really abnormal alien visit ever happened to me. And I thought after, could the clothing have been like bioluminescence that they can turn on with the click of a hand or whatever, some sort of instrument, and they become like self-illuminated so they don't have to carry a torch around? That would make sense, wouldn't it? So they can see them way around and see what they're looking at. But they got big eyes, so means they're very sensitive to light, so they don't really need much light. So it makes sense that they would use like bioluminescence rather than big bright lights to see around in the dark themselves. But that's what I thought after the event anyway. Now, I don't know if anyone else has talked about that sort of stuff ever in abduction cases, because we don't get to hear any of them, really, do we, online? No one tells their stories. But anyway, I looked at this guy for... seemed like a long time, but I'd say it'd only be like 5 or 6 seconds, and then I just blanked out into this crazy dream of... because I was actually holding onto the syringe in the hand of this alien that was sticking it in my back, trying to pull it out. And this other alien looked at me and basically put me to sleep, I'd say, somehow. And I went to this deep dream, and it was I was thinking of this alien head on a tube for some reason, and it just kept repeating over and over again. It's really, really strange. It was a really strange dream, and that's all I remember until I woke up the next day. And I got up, and normally I'd yell from pain, and I was pain-free. I thought, what the hell? I got no back pain. Got up, jumped around, felt like new again. No pain in the back, which was abnormal, considering all the pain I was taking, and I had to take that opiate, tramadol, that it was so bad. I would take it occasionally in the weekend, and this was like middle of the week, I think it was. So I hadn't had any in the system to be pain-free. And of course that doesn't last very long either. You get gradually used to it. That's why I didn't take it very often, because I knew it was addictive. Could be addictive, and as if you keep taking medicines, it gradually wears off. Your body gets used to it. I'll just catch up on this side chat here before I carry on. Hi TV Screen Ice. What we got here? Hey, how's it going? I missed a lot, I guess. Tommy, haven't seen you a while. You've probably heard it all before, though. I'm just recapping, but I've actually got some new evidence to show you. I've watched other channels where others folk have shared similar, you mean, stories. I thought you were going to say Skinner's story, because that's my last name. Skinner from the X-Files. There was a bit I did miss to say, though. So, you know, because we've got these secure team emails, and I started up a channel, and I didn't know how to make videos, so I downloaded some video making and tried to make episodes and put them up. You can see my early ones are pretty crappy. But I was a computer scientist. I knew I could self-learn it and put something together. And back then we didn't have streaming either, 6 years ago. So I made this story about Tesla, because I was following Tesla, because I worked with electronics guys and in electrical field, and so I knew a wee bit about electronics as well from university, and although I didn't pass it, it was way hard. I just couldn't get my head around some of the stuff in electronics. I was more of a computer man rather than an electronics man, but I do know some. But anyway, I think a lot of it depends on the teacher as well. The teacher was useless. The lecturer that we had at university was the worst I've ever had. But anyway, I wrote this article, and I posted it around Rojas Facebook group, Open Minds, and EARL Grey, this MUFON guy, got in touch with me. He said, I found your insights into Tesla and energy and all that. Fascinating. So we become friends on Facebook, and we used to talk every day. And like I said, he was the first one to open up about his abduction story. But before then, he told his mum's story. And I said, "Oh, can you come on and do a show with me, and I'll do it properly, and I'll do graphics and put up photographs and tell the story first time in video properly in full." Because he had told bits and pieces on other shows, Open Mind Show. He did mention some of it, and not all of it though. And he wrote it. He told his mate in MUFON, and he wrote an article for the MUFON magazine. But anyway, after that, he had a abduction experience 2 weeks after that the story got published and by the MUFON. And he always thought it was related somehow, that he ended up on the radar. But at the time, he was a trainee investigator, and he was doing abduction stories as well. And he was working on a fascinating case, he said, when one night, when his wife and him got woken up by this big bright light, which didn't happen to me, and this UFO merged with their flat in California, and the aliens, and I think it was aliens, he said, alien greys grabbed him and wheeled him off to a chair where they started taking lots of blood out of his arm. And he said he thought he was going to die because they were taking so much blood out of him. And then they returned him, and the next morning he woke up and asked his wife, "Do you remember anything from last night?" She says, "Yeah, your mates woke us up." And so they talked about what actually happened. So he had a witness to it that could back up his story. It was like his sixth wife so far, or something like that. He's had a few wives anyway. But because we become good friends, he'd come on the show and give us updates on various interesting cases he's worked on, and tried to keep privacy at the same time, right? So you just keep it pretty general. I don't think the MUFON head liked him coming on my show and telling the stories. I think there was a bit of resistance because they like to tell it at their symposium and sell tickets to it, right? I think that's what it boils down to. If you go and freely tell your stories on a podcast, then no one's going to buy the magazines and stuff when they can just listen to it freely. But that's my gut feeling anyway. But eventually I left Facebook, and I've lost contact with him. He doesn't like going on Twitter and other stuff, but it doesn't matter. But we're talking lots of UFO stuff and cases in private, and he said, just beware that something strange that might happen to you in the future. And I just laughed it off. He says, don't be surprised if you're being monitored, especially on Facebook or social media. Because he had some strange stuff happen. And he seems to have a lot of people that want to connect to him and chat to him about aliens and UFOs. But anyway, eventually he told that story on my channel, and things got weirder and weirder. You know, as you know, we'd be doing live streams, and the things would sort of stop working. You know, the internet would drop and crazy stuff like that, which has been pretty solid lately. We've not had really any problems. But I have not had any guests on for a while. But yeah, that warning he gave me. And then later on he told me about his abduction story after giving me that warning. But the next day, apparently, what we were talking about on Facebook was in private chat. Someone contacted him about the same case, and he thought that was really strange. And he didn't know this guy. It was just someone out of the blue wanted to know information about that case. And he said, yeah, I think we're being watched. And I said, I think you might be right. But anyway, yeah, that was before the alien visitation thing happened in 2020, which was February, I think it was. So I document it as we go along to keep it fresh, get all the fresh stuff from my mind. Was that one there? Let me just have a look. My alien visitation. So that's the second one on the list. And I've got a load of aliens there. Have I got bookmarks? Yeah, I've got bookmarks set up. Let's see. My crazy real dream. So at the stage, I had to class it as a dream, but as things have progressed, new stuff has sort of happened that sort of makes it less of a dream now. Having a dream in a dream didn't make any sense to me, but people said it's possible. If you have a vivid dream, you can still dream. I don't think so. I think this actually really happened. And me running a UFO channel, and then relating it back to that strangeness I had when I was in Germany, that memory come forefront in my mind after that event, thinking, oh, maybe I had a visitation when I was a kid and they lost track of me, and now I've got my own UFO channel connecting to some really feet on the ground people that's also connected currently with aliens, and then suddenly him giving a warning that something might happen to me like it happened to him, and it did happen. Things are all sort of connected and crazy to me. It's up to people whether they believe when I'm telling them all these things, but I have been trying to document it and find evidence for everybody as well as myself. But yeah, another thing that happened after that point was these large sounds would happen at night time, like there was walking on the roof of the house. 2 feet, you could hear 2 feet rather than 4 feet. I thought maybe there was prowlers on the roof trying to break in through the roof. In Australia, that's what they do. They go on the roof and lift up roof tiles and jump through the top of the house to break in. Seems like the easiest thing to do. But yeah, this one here. Let's see. Where's the picture? I'll look at ant people. Okay, it must be here. So, yeah, I started getting these loud sounds. So I found this app that when it hears a loud sound, it starts recording on your phone. So I started doing that, and I had it on a clamp on the side of the bed here. And one night there was this big bang sound, and I got up and had a look around and opened the door to see the dog fast asleep and both parents asleep in their bedroom. And I thought that was really strange because that was so loud that they should have woken up. Now, I heard about this thing here called exploding head syndrome, and I thought this is one way to see if it really happened, because I realised I was recording it, and there should be actually files on the phone. But when I went to check, the hour where it happened, all the files were missing. It was recording fine before and recording fine after, but unfortunately I didn't take a snapshot of the screen on the phone to document it, which for some reason I don't understand why I didn't do that. I know Plex did say, oh, have you got a recording of it? So I said, oh damn, no I didn't. But I was playing around with it, and eventually I deleted all the files because I got so fed up with it, which probably was a wrong thing to do. But I did actually scan through a lot of stuff beforehand and after, and there was nothing in it. There was no loud sounds. And I thought I had some smoking gun evidence of this sound. And why would the files go missing? And that's why I don't think it's a exploding head syndrome, because the files went missing when that sound happened. Tells me that something more was going on there. So exploding head syndrome is a sleep disorder. Although it sounds painful, you feel no pain. You hear a loud noise or explosion in your head. The sound isn't real or heard by others. It happens as you're falling asleep or when waking up during the night. Now, I had actually just gone to bed, and it happened 20 minutes in, just as I was about to drift off. Or so I wasn't actually sleeping at the time. I was just drifting off into dreamland when it happened. And I think it was 3:30 in the morning, something like that. I think I documented it in one of the live shows in that playlist somewhere, though. I thought, oh no, I can prove this on the tape recorder. We're about to hopefully hear something on the tape recorder, and of course then the files are missing. So it's not the first time it's happened. It's happened 3 times now, where it sounds like something's walking on the roof. 3 or 4 times. But I stopped recording and switched over to the cameras now, so the cameras can actually record sound now. But then what happens? One night I wake up thinking that I heard talking, and I think I was going to check the camera SD card and find almost 3 hours of footage missing. So I've actually taken a snapshot this time of the FTP client connecting to the SD card on the camera, which I've shown before. ES is homeless, no sign of serious health condition. It usually doesn't require treatment. So yeah, but that's talking about explosion. Hearing feet walk on the roof for say a good minute or so doesn't sound like the same thing, so I don't think it's that at all. Let me just place the link there. As you know, I'm always a scientist and a skeptic, so I'm always trying to find alternatives to my experience, just to make sure that it's not the medicines I'm taking and all that sort of business, or painkillers, but I've never ever been a druggie, and never been a pot smoker, and I've never been a smoker for various reasons, and I don't like taking painkillers, even aspirin for that. I take it very occasionally, and at the moment I can't take any painkillers anyway with the immune pills that I'm taking, which is really strange. This is another thing that's happened to me. I've got an immune system that's attacking my own body, and the doctors can't seem to stop it. And it's trying to take away my eyesight. So yeah. These pills make me very sick each week. That's why you don't hear from me a fair bit at the moment. Because the pills have side effects. And of course you got the corona and all these other flu bugs going around as well. Doesn't help. But could it be that aliens have done something to me that's making me sick? Okay, so I've actually got other tabs here of other stuff, but so I actually have been creating files of stuff that's happened. Now, what makes me think that the alien injection was real was, let's see, a month after The back pain slowly come back after a week, by the way. And I had no back pain for a week, and it slowly started coming back a wee bit. And then it disappeared again. And now I've got this back pain in another location, which is really strange. It's lower back pain now, and this one was more middle back pain. When I show you the image that I took, you'll see why. But let's have a look at these missing files first. Bright Orb. Was it in that one? Oh, here we go. Missing files. Okay, let's just bring up that one again. So this is a snapshot of, what's it called now? What was the program? It looks like I cut off the top of it. FileZilla, I think it's called. But anyway, it's a FTP client that was connected to the camera, and you can see it records 1 minute videos, and it creates folders with the date stamp in it and the hour. So it creates 0 to 23 in a day, and each of those have 60 files in them on this cheap camera I got, which doesn't allow me to record to NVR, so I got no way to back it up apart from only record on the SD card. But as you can see there, hours 00H and 01H are totally missing, and you can see it's recording that night I woke up with a loud noise where I thought I heard voices. It started recording here in the file name, because I didn't actually expand it over here, which is a bit of a shame. I should have expanded that out there. As you can see, it's got the minutes of the recording. It's doing 1 minute recordings, and I woke up at 55, was it 2:55, almost 3 o'clock. That was really strange that night. That night that everybody was extremely tired, even the dog, that we all went to bed around about 11:30 that night. And that's really abnormal for me, because I'm normally up to 3 or 4 in the morning doing stuff. But that night I was extremely tired, and then this happened. And you can see here it started recording at 55 minutes. 39 seconds is the point where I woke up, and then 56 and 57, and then 58 and 59 vanished, which is kind of strange. But I think I got up and went to the toilet at that stage. So yeah, that's really strange. How files can go missing like that, especially almost 3 hours. And I looked up and down on that, and I couldn't find any other instances where that happened. So that's just another strange occurrence, I guess. And then what happened? Well, I started getting this lump growing on my back, and it was extremely painful. And it was in the location where the alien was sticking the damn needle. So I took some pictures because I had to send it to the doctor, and I have some physical evidence now, and I'll just show it now. So this is my back, and let's see, I'll just zoom in on this one. So you can see I've lifted up my t-shirt, and I asked Mum to photograph it for me and have a look at it, and it was oozing this stinky fluid out my back for a month solid. I had to pretty much wash and change my top daily. But you can see here, even though it doesn't look like it's very high and big, it's like 2 inches big. I'm a pretty big guy, broad shoulders. And hang on, I need a drink. And if we zoom right into this thing, it's actually, Mum said it's strange, it's actually got 2 holes. And if we zoom right into this thing, I think there was 2 holes. Now I think it might be there, a black mark and a black mark there. Looks pretty horrible, doesn't it? So it's got all this fluid leaking and crystallizing on my back. So I showed it to the doctor. I couldn't tell him about this crazy alien stuff. I don't want to be committed to a hospital or laughed at. But you can see it's got this smelly yellow fluid leaking from it. He said, oh, it's just a skin cyst that's got infected with bacteria and started growing. Well, it could be, I suppose, but yeah, it looks very sore there too, doesn't it? Looks like a lump, but that's exactly in the place where the alien was sticking the needle. And you can see it's quite big. There's my spine here. It's right next to the spine. So it's the sort of thing you see on Dr. Lear, I guess. So there's no x-rays or anything to see if there's any implants there. So what the hell were they doing? And normally you hear people being abducted and taken to the flying saucer. But in my case, they were working on me in the bedroom. Maybe because I'm a difficult Kiwi, maybe. Maybe because I'm a big guy, maybe. Maybe because I'm quite violent and attack things. Not scared of things, you know. I don't take anything laying down, so to speak. So maybe they thought it was better just to knock me out and do something there and then, maybe. So yeah. So, unfortunately, I said to Mum, look, we can't actually see how big this thing is, but it was actually quite raised up quite a lot, by like a centimetre. And you got to remember, this is after it started leaking. Before then, it was even bigger and really painful. The doctor thought it was like a skin cyst, though, that... and said, oh yeah, looks like it's going to leak and heal up normally. He didn't give me any antibiotics or anything. So yeah, I was trying to see if it had like 3 puncture marks in it, but it looks like a puncture mark there, doesn't it? And I couldn't even get my hand around my back and feel it or do anything. I had to have other people in the house look at it. Yeah, some strange pattern happening there too, but it looks awful. Looks like a hole mark there. Looks like a couple of hole marks there, so it really is like puncture marks, isn't it? Maybe because the fluid built up so much, would it make perfect holes like that, or would it sort of rupture on a line? I don't know. But it looks like it started coming out where there were puncture marks to me. Eventually the pressure built up. But before this happened, something else happened. Yeah, so what's that one? I'll leave it there for the time being. I'll just catch up on this side again. Fast let your body rest and repair. That's why I'm in the other bedroom at the moment, because it's got a softer, what do you call it, memory foam on top of it. And this one here has a hard back on it. And it's meant to have 3 memory foams on it, but it's a lot harder bed. And I find that sometimes this bed is better and the other bed's better. And of course now we've got summer coming, that I'm going to go back in the other bedroom because I can sleep deeper than I can in a hot room. So yeah, definitely got to rest, and I do sleep pretty well. In fact, lately, since all this has happened, I've been passing out in front of the computer. instantly, like a click of the fingers, I'm gone, I don't remember anything. And I wake up and think, oh shit, 2 hours has passed and I haven't done anything on computer. And yeah, it's kind of strange how I've been having this fatigue come right over me. And I always put it down to the vaccinations or these pills I'm taking. But then other people in the house have been suffering from the same fatigue. And then I thought maybe it's paranormal related, where they drain energy from you. But then again, I'm not sure. Now we got all this other crap, the aliens, alien greys. So are they evil? Well, they didn't ask my permission to do whatever they're doing. And how did they find me? Through my UFO channel again. Maybe they've been. Maybe I just don't remember things. Just like everybody says, you know, a skeptic has had this happen to him. You wouldn't think two minutes of it, would you? But yeah, it's made me more of a believer now. That file's going missing, and twice. First off the phone, memory card. Well, actually internal memory that was, I think. And SD card on the camera. 2 times now with files have gone missing when I believe that something actually happened. Now, my mum has heard like a loud radio on and people talking occasionally. And she said, she was thinking, Paul, get to sleep, turn off the TV. I was dead to the world. I said, no, it wasn't me. I was asleep at that time. So mum's heard strange stuff happening. So that could be more evidence there, you see. But it's, again, before we had cameras recording non-stop at the moment. And it's gone quiet since I've set up all that cameras. So yeah, apart from that one that I showed last time with the flash of light, and I was talking to someone and I said, I never thought about it, but it could be like them just checking to see what kind of security I've added to the bedroom from a portal opening and peering through the portal for 1/8 of a second just to take a snapshot of the room. And because it looked like an alien grey head, remember? I still got that one. Let's see, where's that one? Bright Orb, was that one? That one there. Was it not coming up? So that's a cable. That looks like what do you call it? Ecoplasma, or what they call it on Ghost Hunters. But this little bright light that happened for a split second, and I said, could be gamma radiation on the sensor or something. X-rays, I don't know. Because I was recording there with the new camera as well as the old one that was further up the top here. I set up this new camera to work with the other one, aimed at the same location. And I've got the new light I had up here that glowed, that gave us the temperature and all that, turned off because I was sleeping in the room again. And of course, then we got this thing here. It looks like an alien grey head. And why does it look like an alien grey head? Not a fish, not a horse, not a dinosaur or something else. Why does it have to look like an alien grey head with 2 black eyes with the light reflecting off them? Strange, that is. Of course, religious people say that's a demon, but you can see it's really, really, really small. We're talking about a few block of pixels here. You can see a noise grain here. And it's using that new Sony sensor on the camera of that one. So the room's actually pitch black, and that shows up. So that's kind of creepy, if you ask me. But it's just our paradola minds working overtime again. Okay, I'll just catch up in the side chat again. Looks like a nasty bug bite. That is infected. Yeah, but we haven't got any bugs. It was just the end of summer, was it? Summer? I can't remember now. But yeah, I don't think it is a bug bite, because why is it in the same location of where I had the dream of, well, surreal fantasy of aliens sticking a needle in my back. Could the brain actually develop that through mind control? Why would I want to even think of a growth on my back growing? That's extremely painful. It doesn't make any sense. If it's a bug biting me in bed, then there hasn't been any bugs, because when you make the bed, you would shake it and see a large white-tailed spider, if that's what we've got in the house. But you got to remember, most of the time my windows are shut and the door is shut. Keep out the noise so I can sleep in. I've got heavy-duty curtains. So yeah. And back then I think I was wearing a t-shirt now because it wasn't so hot. So yeah, I don't know about bug. But yeah, that one's really strange. Yeah, health problems, but is it related to aliens? You know, I've often wondered. My crazy immune system is a really strange one, where it's attacking my own eyesight and a nerve, what do you call it, to the back of the eye. And it's not even diabetic related, you know, I'm diabetes. So you go through the problems. Yeah. Hey Paul, were you probed? Who knows? Could have been. I'm looking for evidence like those school children had from some baby back. What kind of evidence are you talking about, though? Photographs. I've been trying to capture photographs, as you can see. But I've got some images here that I've pulled off video feeds. But the physical evidence is actually the thing with the holes in the back, 3 holes in the back, which is kind of strange. And really, unless you listen to other abductee reports and look for similarities, yeah. A lot of people tell their alien stories, but they don't have like physical strange stuff like that happening, though. And they don't have photographs of strange stuff like I do. And the light switching on, remember the light switching on? And I still have yet to go through a lot of images here. What was that one there? Oh right, yeah, I've yet to go through that one. So what was that one? That was one of the early ones where the light switches on, is it? The strangeness on this one, though, only turns on in the mornings. This is coming up to 9 something on the clock here. And up here. And of course that's when I'm sleeping in the other room, which is just around the corner. And this, as you can see, would get some sun. So that's why it's probably a wee bit more illuminated than normal as well. Coming through the heavy curtains that we got. Shows how sensitive the new camera is as well. All these new cameras, both new cameras have got the Sony center. There you go, it just turns on by itself. Now that's been happening on pretty much every day between 7 in the morning and 11 in the morning. Really strange. And it's not happening anymore since I moved back into the bedroom. Now tell me that's an electrical fault that randomly happens, or why is it not happening anymore? See, that's something else that looks like physical evidence of someone trying to make themselves known. Whether that's paranormal or alien related, I don't know. But it's where that the orb was shown, right? The ghost orb, which we showed as well. And one of these ones, was it? The night before light. Was that? All right. Was this some missing files again? Let me see. Alright, yes, another event where files went missing. See that? Quite a long period there too. Started at 4 in the morning, all the way up to 23 at night time. And I didn't even know that it wasn't recorded on the SD card, but why would it suddenly start working again at 9 o'clock? It's like someone's trying to tell me something. Anyway, night before, the light got turned off. And another instant. And that's my old clock. It doesn't glow. It doesn't have a humidity thing on it either. So that will come on at some point there too. Is that the one where we see the orb though? You have to look for it. Alright, there's a bang noise. Remember that bang noise? And this is at 4:30 in the morning. So did it? Oh no, the light didn't come on at 4:30 in the morning. Oh, there's the ghost orb. Went upwards towards the ceiling. Now Robert Farmer reckons that's a bug. So let's go back on that one. We heard a little bang noise. What the hell is that? And then something comes up from here. There, see that? Went shooting up there. Didn't look like a bug to me. I was actually going to analyse that though. I'm not sure if I'll do it today though. And I don't think anything else happens after that point. But it's funny how it sort of crossed where the other one, where the light flash happened. It's like it's going up to the ceiling and the other one was coming down from the ceiling. Yeah, what the hell is going on in this house? And you can't see any other dust or anything, right? In all the other videos I've shown, there's no dust. That sounded like a bang, didn't it? Like something got picked up and dropped. And then we get the ghost orb. Where is it? Moves quite quickly. Now, I find it a bit strange that they didn't erase this one. So maybe they left it to be found. Oh, there it is. And it's already gone past. Moves very quickly. Faster than a bug, I think, and faster than dust. So yeah, we need to come back and rip that one to frames and enhance it better. Let me just close that down again. And what was this one? Later in the morning. Was it the same day? What time is it? Back to 9 o'clock again, right? Still not in the bedroom myself. And it comes on again. And it hasn't since I moved back in, you know. So these 1 minute videos. No sound whatsoever. This other camera only records sound when it's above a certain decibel. So if there was whispering or talking, it probably wouldn't pick it up. Yeah, but I had so many of these, I just got fed up of pulling them out off the SD card and backing them up. And I thought there's nothing really happening in them. Until I started looking at other video minutes randomly, and I come across that one with the orb and the bang noise. So there might be some stuff there. I'm just not got the time to go through every minute of the day. But it just shows that paranormal does happen in the daytime. It doesn't just all happen at nighttime like these shows always do it at nighttime. They should do investigations throughout the day, I reckon. So yeah. So what are you saying over here, Gabba TV? You're a bit late to the party, actually. 90% of all other universes have absolutely no life. Well, we've got no evidence of other universes. We can only have theories of other universes. I spoke to an alien once. Right, okay. I'm not sure how you know the language though. An EVP, rather, it told me there are multiple universes. Yeah, I believe that. Because I have covered it in my theory, which actually come to me in a dream. And I sort of put it together with Tesla stuff. It made total sense to me. In our reality, stable reality, physical traits. What else we got here? Aliens and ghosts use electronics to send messages. Yeah, so what they're trying to tell me. Too big to be a bug. You reckon? Does look like it's far away from the camera rather than close to, but it's hard to know because it's only two-dimensional. That's an orb. Yeah, that one definitely didn't look like an alien head, that one, but we'll do a proper analysis on it sometime. I am speaking about facts, not dreams. Well, we can call them dreams, so people don't call us crackpots. But I call it a realistic dream that's more realistic than a dream. You would need audio recording all the time, which is basically what I'm doing now. But you need lots of time. As you know, ghost hunters and adventurers, they spend pretty much a whole day or so after going through all their footage with a whole team of people. So I'm just a one-man band here. So yeah, people can believe what I'm showing you, and I haven't actually made it up. Why would I even bother making it up? It's not like I'm a huge channel with lots of money flowing in. In fact, I don't get any money. Well, apart from some regular donations, that adds up to a few bucks a month. That's about all I'm getting at the moment. But yeah, I'm just telling it how it is, and it's up to you whether you want to believe my story or not. But before this thing popped, 3 weeks before, was it? I had the tall whites show up. I never believed in the tall whites, especially with Billy Meyer nonsense, right? I never ever believed in the tall whites. But then again, you had the Nazis that also believed in the Aryan race of whites, Nordics, you know. So maybe there's something to it. But then these started showing up again in the morning and afternoon. Just shows it doesn't always happen at night time. And it's because I was mentally thinking, if you're going to show yourselves, do it when I'm awake, will you? And not disturb my sleep. And sure enough, the tall white starts showing up, and the light turning on in the daytime rather than nighttime when I'm sleeping. All things jumping on my back in the nighttime, which I was talking about earlier. So maybe they did something to me and implanted a chip which now transmits my thoughts. Because I think I didn't believe in C5 or whatever it's called, Dr. Greer stuff. I didn't believe in it because brainwaves are not that powerful enough, even up close, to be able to detect without having stuff placed on your forehead and amplified, right? So I don't believe that. But if they planted some sort of transmitter in you, then I believe it, because then your body is electricity, which they can then power their device from and transmit from, just like a mobile phone. So before the tall white showed up, I said, do not disturb me. If you're going to show up in the daytime. And later on I actually thought, if there's any tall whites out there, please make themselves known, because I was listening to a guy tell his story where he went to a bank and sat down, and he sat there thinking, I can't remember who it was now, said, let yourself be known, come and sit next to me. And sure enough, a blonde woman come in the bank and sat down next to him, looked at him, didn't say anything, got up and walked away. And he thought that was a alien Nordic making themselves known. And I thought, oh well, it'd be a good experiment to try. Sure enough, stuff happened. I'm not a believer of CE5, but I believe that if you've been interfered with previously, it's possible that you could communicate. So sure enough, I had the aliens show up, but I didn't have cameras. That was before I set up the cameras and also did sound recordings. So again, I tell the story and draw pictures of what I saw in that playlist. And which ones was it be? I'm not too sure now. My ghostly visit. So even the light was turning back on a year ago, and then it stopped playing up, just like it's doing now. So, and it's now started up again 12 hours after paranormal events, and it was turning off and on by itself on that one. So I can actually go through and play some clips of those. Alright, here's Paul's new paranormal event evidence. So that might be where I'm showing missing files. And then this one here, special for Jan 2022, was Paul visited by tall whites. So that's when I tell the story about the first one. So the first one was this, my parents walked in the kitchen door, having a cup of tea, sitting in the corner. And this woman was behind them. And the dog walked in with the parents. And he was sniffing around, not really paying much attention. And the parents were busy talking about something. And this woman was just standing in the doorway. She had a nice clean white suit on and short blonde hair. And she was like 6 foot tall, maybe slightly higher. And she had this vibrant pink top on. And I was looking at her, and she was looking at me and smiling. And I closed my eyes and then rubbed it to get some sleeper out of my eye, because it was watering, because I got a cataract. And it waters in the left eye, and I just wanted to clear a vision of her because it was slightly blurry because of this watering. And as I opened my eyes up, she was gone. and I said to the parents, "Oh, where did that lady go that's with you?" And they said, "What lady?" I said, "That lady that was standing waiting for honey, because Dad's a beekeeper, and they come over and get honey off him." And he said, "No, we're alone," because they come in from in the garage, I think it was. They walked in the garage. I'm not sure if they were somewhere in the car, and they come back home. And I thought this lady was following them for honey, because we have people come in the house and wait and all that sort of stuff normally. And so Mum said, "Oh, to Dad, go and check the place out, just make sure there's no one's walked in through behind us, leaving the door unlocked." They didn't find anything, of course, and they just assumed it's just my imagination. And I thought it's really strange, and then I didn't really make a tall white connection until I started thinking about it more, and me thinking about make themselves known. And was that another couple of weeks passed by? I'm not sure on the timelines now, that's why I document it. But I do document them in here, which is normally a day or a couple of days after the event. New sighting of a tall white, February this time, so Jan there, February there, so at least a couple of weeks anyway. And here's this apparition of this. It was that, but both of them were solid. I say it's apparition because they disappeared. But this guy was really tall. He was like 7 foot, and he was bending over in the door frame because he was going to bang his head on the top of the door. And I thought, what the hell is this thing? He wasn't very pretty, but he had short blonde hair. I wouldn't say he was really handsome type guy, but he was young, and he had long arms, and he was waving his arm up and down with his hand and his thumb up, saying, the okay thumb up, everything's okay. And I thought, what the hell is this about? And I was making sure I didn't blink or close my eyes this time, and then suddenly, and I thought, damn, someone was coming down the hallway. It was Mum, and coming down with the dog, and the thing just vanished, just in a blink of an eye, just totally disappeared. Just before she actually come around the corner to see it. It's like they know. She walked through the door, and I said, "Oh, look, I just saw another apparition." She says, "Go on with you. You and your apparitions." So, yeah, don't think much more of it. But it was like 3 days after that, when that thing on the back finally started leaking. And I just wonder if they were there protecting me from the greys and saying everything's okay now. So maybe somehow they got it to terminate and self-eject out the back. I don't know. That's one thing that sort of come into my head, what it was about. So there's good aliens and bad aliens, maybe. But anyway, I thought that might be the end of it, but it wasn't. I was sitting in the kitchen having a cuppa one morning, and the door unlocked and opened up by itself, and there was nothing there. Just a cool breeze come through, and there was nothing there. And the sensor light come on as well with it, which is kind of strange. And then later on, my father would come down the hallway with the dog. It always seems to be the same scenario. Someone always comes down the hallway when something strange just happens before. So, yeah, a couple more weeks passed by, and I see another apparition, for Christ's sake. And I was sitting in the same chair in the corner, which I'd probably have to bring up here so you can see what I'm talking about if you're new to the channel. This is where you got to follow me. So this is the first one, and she looked just like that, wee bit David Bowie even kind of look, really, and the white suit and the pink top, just standing there, and people in the kitchen talking. And that one seemed so real to me, the most real one. But after that, we got the guy that has, well, maybe she's a wee bit too tall here because she was probably that high, and this other guy was taller, and he was sort of bending his neck to be underneath the door frame. But it's approximation of what I remember anyway. Lady in pink and white. And of course the dog was wandering around here sniffing, not even paying attention in that direction, which I thought was strange. But anyway, the third apparition was the strangest. This time it was like a long-haired, blonde, very in the 20s, very beautiful sort of lady that you'd hopefully meet in a party and marry and have children with. That's so beautiful. But at the time I was actually focused on the person's looks at the top, and she had small boobs, like, you know, not super big boobs, handful boobs. She looked like some sort of actor you'd see on TV, you know, that type of build, for doing a beautiful lady actor job type thing. And when I looked down, her waist and legs were missing. And she was transparent, this one, and semi-transparent, and she was walking towards me, and I thought, what's going to happen? I'm not going to move. I'm just going to keep focused. I'm not going to blink. And she was coming, and she come to the edge of the table. I'm not sure if you can see the table in this one, but the table's over in the corner. So she come in a fair way, this one. These other ones just stood in the door frame. This one walked or glided to the edge of the table and was looking outside where the dog was. So he was locked outside, and he was woofing to come in, and she was looking at the dog. And she was just standing a wee bit back from the table, looking through the double doors that are over here. And my dad come in the room, and he walked around, didn't even notice the woman. And I was keeping an eye on, trying to keep an eye on both of them. And he walked around the corner into another double doors that go into another room and opened up some curtains. And he come walking back through, and he passed right through this lady. He walked right through it, and I said, wow, you just passed through this apparition. And he said, of this beautiful blonde. He said, you'll be so lucky. And then the lady turned around and walked back out the door again and disappeared. I don't think the sensor light come on even. And I was just sitting there sort of going, wow, well, what just happened? And I didn't have any cameras set up then, unfortunately, but I have got now, and nothing's happened. But yeah, so what was the third sighting about? I was trying to wrap my head around, which they're trying to say that they can show up any time and only be visible to certain people. I think so. And they can be physically solid, and they can also be transparent. So I saw 2 females and a male, and they all had blonde hair. And this girl was wearing really nice clothes too. I can't remember what she was wearing, but I don't think it was all white this time. And the guy, I think he was wearing a t-shirt and a a cap that was backwards, you know, those caps, like he was looking like a tailor with the hat backwards. But anyway, I just couldn't make head or tail of that experience anyway. But maybe they were telling me that they were keeping an eye on me, and things would come right. But so far there hasn't. My health has actually sort of deteriorated, and now I've got these new back pains. So maybe they're not doing a good job of keeping the aliens away. But I don't remember anything else, so that's the only thing. But maybe the fatigue is part of what's going on. Maybe I'm being disturbed and not getting my full sleep, you know. So, if we go back to the alien ejection one, was it here? Is it going to play? Welcome to the Out There channel. Okay, I thought I had it queued up. What's going on? Oh boy. So I did post on Discord and Twitter some blurb, which has got... So I wrote some blurb, it's got some typos and stuff and about the story. Next few days when it happens. Blue-grey skin I've got written there, so it's a lot of details there that I may have forgotten about. But yeah, as we progress through, I'll start drawing up a picture of the bed and where I was laying and where the aliens were standing or leaning across, sticking an injection in my back. So, yeah. So, I'll just progress on. I'm trying to find pictures to make a little graphic up. What's going on here? So, I got a sheet over my head like that. Although, I think it wasn't covering my whole body. I'm not too sure now. So, just progress on. Explain it. Is that the very high frequency spectrum, though, rather than the low spectrum? A low would drive me crazy. So I had a part of a pillow over the top of my head, and the sheet up across my eyes for some reason. And I'm talking about hearing a buzzing sound before I went to sleep. It was actually in one ear. Just carrying on. So I was trying to draw where the alien was. The alien was sort of laying across the bed, sticking a needle in where that lump appeared. But anyway, just carry on. I'm trying to draw the alien. It's a bit hard to do, isn't it, when you're trying to... So the alien grey was looking at me. And I grabbed its arm with the needle. I don't think I was meant to wake up. That sort of shocked them, I think. And they was fighting, and the other alien was standing on the other side of the bed there. When I managed to move that arm here and throw that up a bit and see what was going on that way and this way. Now, how many UFO abduction cases have you had that's like mine? Mine's very unique. Obviously, I haven't taken it from other stories that other people would claim that I have, but I haven't. And there's only two that I saw, but there could have been a third one there. Because I couldn't move. Could only move my head slightly and my arms. So obviously it wasn't sleep paralysis, because you can't normally move at all. And normally when I wake up, the first thing I want to do is go pee, right? And after that scary event, I slept right to the morning. It was like 10 in the morning again, and woke up being pain-free. Got up and went to the toilet, and I thought, no pain. That's strange. And then all the memories started coming back to me, what happened that night. Which is abnormal, because sometimes you don't remember your dreams at all, right? You only remember maybe the last minute before you wake up. But I have actually told my parents about it, or told Mum at least. And they don't believe it, but that's the way it is, So yeah, you can go and watch all those if you want to. I must have something that opens up in the new tab. I think I was mucking around with that UFO Stalker. Now it's opened up everything in the new tab, so I have to find how to disable that again. But there's no big problem really, though. Yeah, I did have it queued up there. So this one here, I'll talk about the first tall white sighting. The woo kind. So that was 30th of December 21. So this was, let's see, the other ones happened in February 2020. So the alien greys happened in February 2020, and now this alien visit happened then. That's quite a big gap, I think, isn't it? Yeah, this talking about a couple of years, isn't it now? And it happened at 1 PM. So come almost Christmas Eve, I was sitting in the chair in the dining room, well, dining room / kitchen, and I was nodding off, and my parents walked into the kitchen and were talking and looking at the bench paperwork, and the dog was wandering over towards where I was, not looking at the hallway. But when I looked, I could see this woman in pure white, suited, like a suit that you'd wear for a wedding, I guess, and this really bright, shocking pink top, and it was quite amazing. I thought, wow, she's tall, and she's got blonde, maybe grey hair. Looked fairly older than a younger person would be, like maybe in the 40s, 50s. And I thought nothing of it, because Dad sells honey, and he invites people in the doorway to stand in the hallway while he goes and gets it. And they swap money, and he gives them the honey. So this closed my eyes, blinked for a second. Okay, that's where I was sitting. And the woman wasn't there anymore. And I said to the parents, where did the woman go? And they said, what woman? We're alone. And I thought, nah, you're having me on. There's a woman standing there in a solid white suit and a pink top, fairly tall. And so they looked in the hallway, no one there, and the door was locked. They had come down from the other side of the house, nowhere near the door entrances. So yeah, mystery there. Was it possibly a paranormal sighting of an apparition? But if that's the case, why was it transparent? Also, the night before, I did a show with Robert Farmer, and he was talking about getting FOIA requests about new cases that he found in Ireland. If you've not watched the episode, go and watch it. It's in a recent live stream, and maybe some cover-up there. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. We're touching on something that someone paid a visit to say. No point in repeating that. You can go and listen to it all if you want to. I've got the playlist previously posted. So if you want to listen to my early ghost stories, that's where it starts up, recapping what I've said tonight. How are we going for time anyway? I need to have a pee. Maybe I can have a little small break in... Oh, it's really 3 hours, is it? Maybe in next episode, maybe in a day or so time, might better cover that as a new topic. Keep this one all the same. But yeah, I'm really going to have to go to the toilet, guys, and I don't think there's anything more I can show you. That's basically what I've got so far. So yeah, it's up to you if you believe it or not. But never know, more stuff might happen yet that makes it even more solid. Yeah, we might catch it on multiple cameras even, who knows. That would be really good. Yeah, I can't really buy any more cameras. I'd like to have like camera in each corner of the room so they're covering each other. That's how you normally do it, right? So you know if someone's going to tamper or whatever. And it might even give you some clues whereabouts they were standing or whatever, where it happened. And whether you see it on one camera and not the other. If you see it on both cameras, then that sort of gives it more solid that it was actually a real orb rather than a bit of bug or passing close to one of the cameras, or dust passing. Don't shut my eyes. Keep your eyes wide shut. It is not real. What's not real? What's not real? That doesn't make any sense. Certainly was real. Now you have cameras, you have to ask the Nordic aliens to return. Yeah, somehow I don't think they're going to come with a camera aimed at the doorway, but you never know. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up now, guys. So the new evidence was the photograph of my back. I don't think I've shown it before, not really close up anyway. So, and it needed to be put together with the history. So I'm just going to wrap it up now, and I'll catch you again in the future. I got dashed to the toilet.